Welcome, my dear students of class 9 to another class with me, your tutor Atsinyo Sekose. So today we are going to take a look at the grammar worksheet 4. And you would find it on page 134. Page 134. So here is a quick revision here. When we say tenses, we are dealing with tenses. So when we say tenses, we are focusing more on the verb, the action, and when it took place. And I hope you are by now able to write that or draw that timeline for yourself. So in that timeline, we have past, present, and future. And you, as a speaker, you will always find yourself in the present, that is also at the moment of speaking. So that's what we have here. And today we are going to take a look at the perfect tenses. That is past perfect, present perfect, and future perfect. So when we say perfect, before we start with these, when we say perfect, we mean that an action, we mean that an action is completed, which means finished. Or we can also say perfected. Now, I hope that does not confuse you. We, as a speaker, we are focusing more on the action being completed. So perfect tenses focus on the end result. Supposing he has read 5 books, the action of finishing up reading 5 books. So the result, that's what we focus more on when it comes to perfect, be it in the past, present, or future. Now, we also give emphasis or stress on the fact that the action is completed. Or we can also say to be completed in the future. So that's why you will find that we have past perfect tense, present perfect tense, and future perfect tense. Now we would be discussing these in detail with a few examples. Let's first take a look at the past perfect. I had finished my homework before I went out to play. So let's take a look at the sentence here and look at the events again. I had finished, that is one event, before I went out to play. That is the second event here. Now, if we take a look at it, you will find that this suggests that the action is or giving more emphasis on the result, that the homework was finished, and also the fact that it is linking up to the action that the person went out to play. So 2 actions took place. So when we are linking up 2 events, that's when we use the past perfect continuous tense, and we are emphasizing more on the action being perfected. So here we can say I had finished my homework at a certain point of time in the past. The person has done his or her homework and went out to play. So all these events happened or took place in the past. So now you may have noticed this kind of verb. So in perfect tense, we will always find, you would be required to write this down, has, or these are the indicators, has, have, and had. So we have already discussed subject-verb agreement, so you would know the difference between has and have. Now, these we use it in the present perfect, and this we use it in the past perfect. That is past perfect. So that's the case here. So we remember when we are using the timeline, we are focusing more on the usage. When do we use it? We use past perfect tense when we are referring to two events that is perfected or completed. Now we would take a look at the present perfect tense. Now, let's take a look at present perfect tense. Present perfect tense are again very much similar to the past, but some of the marked differences is that, remember, if you can remember that you're always in the present, then that's when the emphasis or that's when the focus is that at the moment of speaking, the action being perfected has some relevance to the conversation. That's what we need to remember here. And we use present perfect tense to refer to an action that is likely to happen. So that sounds like future tense, but we will clarify this. Or going to happen, you can also say as suggested in your text. And something that has been perfected, or an action that is completed very recently in the past. And these are the indicators that you would find, such as just, already, and so on. So these are some of the indicators that you would find when you are using the present perfect continuous tense. I have just finished my dinner. So see, something that happened somewhere at a point of time in the past, no doubt, but completed. So again, remember, we are linking events, completed, just finished. So here to here, in fact. I would make this clearer. An event that started at a point of time in the past and leading up to the moment, at the moment of speaking. So I have just finished my dinner. So see, that suggests that the action is being perfected just at that point of time when the person was talking. Again, the present moment there. So that is what we have here. Now, when we say it also sometimes likely to happen, examples such as, hold on. Schools has not yet started, an event that is going on and is likely to continue. So in these kind of cases, we also use the present perfect tense. So in this case here, the indicator is yet. An action that is maybe somewhere in the past and continuing, even at leading up to the moment of speaking and likely to continue into the future. So that's what we have here under the present perfect tense here. So if we are to take a look at the form, schools is our subject and has here denotes that it is in the present perfect and so on. And we have here the negative. So when we are framing our sentence in the negative and especially in the present perfect, this is how we use it. And the word yet here is the indicator. So I hope this makes sense. When do we use it? We use it to refer to an action that is an ongoing thing. So present perfect tense. Next, we would be discussing about future perfect. So let's take a look at some of the examples of future perfect. Supposing our sentence is it will rain. We are making, remember, we are making prediction here. And in this case here, you would find yourself in the present moment predicting something that is likely to happen in the future. So that's example 1. Now this is a simple future, that's what we have here. For future perfect tense, it will have rain. Supposing the sentence leads up into something like that, which means, let's say that the person lives in a region where it usually rains a lot. So predicting that the action of raining would be perfected. So that's when we use, remember, perfect tenses. Under perfect tenses, we are always focusing on the action being completed. So that's what we have here in the future perfect. Now remember, this is one event. This is one event. It will have rain by the time I arrived. Let's see. In this case, we have 2 events. So again, we can also lead it up into 2 events in this manner. Somewhere at a point of time in the future, it will rain, and by the time the person arrived. So again, we can use 2 events in this way under past perfect tense, but we are focusing, remember, we are focusing more on the action being perfected here. So this group of words would be taking precedence over this. If I say, by the time I arrived, this would again be a simple past or simple future here. So that's what we have here. Now let's take a look at the usage of since and for. We usually use perfect tenses along with these words, and you would find that when we use this word, that is since, we are referring to a specific point of time. And when it comes to for a duration or a period of time, we can see. So take the example of since yesterday, specific. We knew here that it happened at a point of time yesterday. Then we can also take the example of since, let's say, 2020. So that's when we also use, this is specific, this is specific. When we are referring to a specific period of time, we use the word since. And for, here, we use it for an action that is in progress or that is likely to continue. So duration, for that matter, for a period of time, starting point having an end, we can also put it in that way. So for the last few days, I have been learning grammar tenses. So let's take a look at that sentence. For the last few days, I have been learning grammar tenses. So remember, for the last few days, duration here, few days, I have been learning grammar tenses. For the last few days, maybe these are the last few days, the person is learning grammar tenses and likely to continue into the present. So in such kind of cases, when we are focusing, remember again, focusing more on the action being perfected or the action being likely to be perfected, we can also say, in that case, we use the present perfect continuous tense. So these are the differences that you would find. I haven't given some of the examples in previous parts, that is with the past and present, but you would find that when we say progressive, it is to do with continuing action likely to be perfected or perfected in the future or in the present. I hope that makes you understand we're using this timeline. So here again, remember this indicator suggests that it is, I have been learning grammar, that suggests that it is likely to progress. So that's why we have it here to here. So I hope that does not create any confusion here. So that's what we have here. And so for, again, for is for a duration, and since is for specific time, such as yesterday and so on. So that's what we have here under this. And now we would move on to the next topic. So now let's take a look at the future perfect. Future perfect. Remember, just as in the simple future, we are referring to an action that is likely to be completed somewhere at a point in the future, in fact. So future perfect, continuous tense. Hold on. So let's take a look at this example. It's a very lengthy one. I will have finished reading the book by this time next year. So remember, when we say future, we are also referring to predictions here. So the person is predicting that whatever the book that he or she is reading is likely to be finished, remember, finished, that is perfect, somewhere in the future. So maybe here is the present year. Let's say it is 2020. In fact, it is 2020. And let's say here is 2021. And the person is going to finish the book next year. So it has some relevance. Remember, under the present timeline, we always find the tenses relevance or relevance in the conversation. So here, it has some relevance here. Maybe the person is talking to another person and saying that I will have finished the book by this time next year. So again, by this time, leading up to making a connection, linkage from the present, in fact, from the present, predicting that it would be completed. So that's what we have here under this future perfect continuous. And when we say, remember, I haven't cited some of the examples, but when we say a simple in fact, when we say past perfect or present perfect, we simply mean that there is only one event or one action to be completed. And when we say future perfect continuous, we can also link up more than one event. That is, we can also say, I will have saved $10 when you arrived. Let me just put it in that way. That may not make much sense here, but let's say the person is traveling or the parents are traveling, and by the time the parents arrived, he would have saved some money. So two events. So in these kind of cases, even when we are predicting, two events can be used together to under the perfect form. Why? Because we are focusing on two events to be perfected. So that's what we have here. And I hope you would take some time to go through your exercises and work it out. We have picked up some of only the important things and discussed. There's still so much more that you need to find out, but your textbook is designed in such a way that it is very student friendly, or everything that you need to know is already there. So do take some time to go through it and work out your exercises, and do not forget to enjoy your exercises. Thank you all very much for joining me.